the vast world of anime, we tend to discover some hidden facts in different series now and then. And it turns out that the iconic anime Rurouni Kenshin has quite a number of them. Some of these discoveries are pointers to the fact that the creators took many cues from the real world. And that just adds a layer of realism to the entire series. So, for those of you who might have already seen the series, we've done some digging and found out the top 10 Rurouni Kenshin anime facts that you probably didn't know. Number 10. Rurouni Kenshin aired on Cartoon Network.
しかし彼は動乱の終わりとともにいずこともなく姿を消し去り
The first fact on our list, which most people didn't know, is that the show actually aired on Cartoon Network in its early days. The Rurouni Kenshin anime is an adaptation of the manga, which was written and illustrated by Nobuhira Watsuki. In 1994, the series was released in a weekly Shueisha Jump magazine, and it has a total of 28 volumes. In 1999, the series then followed up with a sequel in the Jump Square magazine with a new title, Hokkaido Arc. After that, the Studio Gallop production aired the show on Fuji TV from January 1996 to September 1998, and it ran a total of 95 episodes during this time. And then in the United States, the series ran from March 17, 2003 up until October 18th of the same year on Toonami Block, which was sponsored by Cartoon Network at the time. The first 2 seasons aired on the network, showing the first 62 episodes. But after that, it was only made available on DVD. At the time, the show was titled Samurai X in North America, but the original name later appeared in the following versions that were available on DVD. Number 9. The anime has very obvious Japanese historical inspiration.
先生なのね
ああ、俺と同じ長屋に住んでるんだ。元は侍らしいが、どうしてゴロつき長屋なんぞに流れ着いたのかは聞いてね。
At number 9, we'll be looking at the fact that Rurouni Kenshin has a very realistic setting that is inspired by ancient Japan. The series began in the Meiji period, during the 11th year, which is 1878 according to the Gregorian calendar. The manga and anime take some amazing cues from the real Japanese history, and it's impressive just how accurate they all are. Even though there are many other decent animated samurai stories out there, like Samurai Jack and Samurai Champloo, Rurouni Kenshin takes the attention to detail and accuracy of historical facts to another level, making it to be considered a league of its own in this department. Number 8. There are millions of copies of the manga in circulation. At number 8, we'll be talking about the number of copies that Rurouni Kenshin manga has released so far. For a classic like this, you'd normally expect it to be so successful, but you probably didn't know that as of 2014, there were already a whopping 70 million copies of the manga in circulation. Nobuhira Watsuki's creation was so amazing that the manga is still regarded as one of the best-selling series of all time to this day. In the early days of its television run, the show was also rated among the top 100 television series in Japan several times, and this was especially because of the positive reception the whole story had, thanks to its compelling characters and very appealing setting to the Japanese folk. Number 7. Shinemori Ayoshi is based on a real-life member of the Shinsengumi. Next on the list, we'll be looking at one of the characters that you probably didn't know was inspired by a real-life samurai. We're talking about Shinomori Ayoshi, a villain in the series who vows to kill Kenshin at all costs. Shinomori is actually based on Hijikata Toshizo, who happened to be one of the deputy leaders of the real-life Shinsengumi at the time. It also turns out that most of Hijikata's depictions in the series are fiction. But even at that, Nobuhira Watsuki made sure to take a specific account from the novel called Mueyo Ken. According to the story, Hijikata is portrayed as an evil man, but in reality, he isn't. He was actually just very dedicated and committed to his beliefs. And this was what made him force the men that brought dishonor to the Shinsengumi to commit ritual suicide called seppuku to atone for their offenses.
勝負あった。いくらあの男でも拳じゃ剣心の刀は
制服のベルト。
Number 6. Rurouni Kenshin was adapted for video games. At number 6, we'll be looking at another fact you probably didn't know about Rurouni Kenshin. This anime actually got a video game adaptation in the year 1996 for its first season, and this game was released on the PlayStation 1. There have been a total of 5 games based on the anime, and the first Rurouni Kenshin game was actually in 3D, closely similar to Tekken. The game had a story mode, where players fought against iconic characters, as well as in locations from the anime itself. There was also a versus mode, and while this was only the first game, 4 others were released and made available on the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation Portable.
待って、もう決着は。離せ。
Before we move on, if you're enjoying this video on our channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button to stay tuned. Number 5. Seta Shujiro is inspired by Okita Soji.
の斎藤や沖田のような一流の剣客は敵に出方を悟らせぬため殺気や闘気は内に秘めて表に出すことはない。ところが
Next, we'll be revealing another character in the anime that was actually based on a real-life samurai. Seta Shujiro is one of the most popular characters in the series, but most people don't know that he was actually inspired by the real-life member of the Shinsengumi, Okita Soji, who was one of the fastest swordsmen at the time. Another fact about this character is the origin of his shukuchi technique. This is a set of moves that allows him to close the gap between an opponent very quickly, and it's based on a real-life technique, which translates to shrink earth method in Japanese.
ケチョアゲリー。乙女心をおちょくった罰だ。この怒りの大きさをお前。
Number 4. Sagara Sanosuke's real-life origin.
悪いな、頭蓋骨ぺっちゃんこ。何？
拳が使えねえんじゃ正々堂々ってわけにいかねえだろ。
At number 4, we have yet another character who's inspired from the real-life member of the Shinsengumi. This time, it's Sagara Sanosuke, a character who was Kenshin's enemy at the start of the series. However, the two started to slowly earn each other's trust, until the enmity between them died off. Sagara is inspired by Harada Sanosuke, a member of the Shinsengumi at that time. But even though most of the historical accounts are accurate, there are a few differences between the character and the man he was based on. For example, in the story, Sagara becomes a fighter for hire after leaving the Seiko army, but in reality, Harada wasn't a sellsword who traveled the land looking for his next employer.
俺は男に抱きつかれて喜ぶ趣味はねえんだ。
Number 3. Rurouni Kenshin was made into a feature film. Next up is a fact that younger anime fans probably have no idea of, As successful as the original series was when it aired in the 90s and early 2000s, many viewers still aren't aware that the anime had a feature film, which was even a live-action movie. The first film adaptation was in 2012, but it allowed only a limited number of international screenings, which is probably why it wasn't so popular. This hidden movie was directed and produced by Keishi Otomo and Osamu Kubuta respectively. The first film was titled Rurouni Kenshin, the motion picture, and after that, other live actions followed, including Rurouni Kenshin, Kyoto Inferno, and Rurouni Kenshin, The Legend Ends, which were both released in 2014.
ならば切る酒場とかお主とだけは剣を交えたくなかったがな。
それは拙者も同じでござる。
Number 2. Saito Hajime is inspired by the real-life samurai Saito Hajime.
それで避けたつもりか抜刀斎。
At number 2, we'll be revealing the character in Rurouni Kenshin that has the closest factual resemblance to the man he was based on. This character is Saito Hajime, and as shocking as it may sound, he was created after the likeness of a man named Saito Hajime. That's right, Nobuhira Watsuki didn't even change the name of this character, and he did a very good job of showing an accurate relationship between Saito and the Shinsengumi. He also made sure that Saito's left-handedness was properly depicted in the anime. But while most features were accurate, there was one major trait that was different. In the series, Saito Hajime is portrayed as a cruel villain who kills ruthlessly. But in truth, the real-life Saito was just another swordsman, strongly devoted to the Shinsengumi. So this made him very rigid on matters that concerned his beliefs.
やろう刀が折れてるってのに。
またガトツだ。
新選組の男引くことを知らんな。
Number 1. Kenshin was created based on a man named Kawakami Gensai. The last fact on the list involves the protagonist of the series, because it turns out that Kenshin was actually inspired by a swordsman named Kawakami Gensai, who was a real swordsman who lived during the Meiji era of Japan. He was a very disciplined swordsman and had one of the fastest sword fighting techniques in the land. However, there's a very telling difference between him and Kenshin, which is an obvious change in the historical resemblance. While Gensai is considered one of the 4 most important swordsmen in the Meiji era, he wasn't as exciting as Kenshin is depicted to be. Unlike Kenshin, Gensai never wandered around the countryside looking for helpless people to protect. Instead, he lived a pretty regular life for a swordsman of his fame. Gensai was arrested, but released from prison right before getting captured again, and then executed.
この国を手中に収めようって腹積もりなんだ。
許せねえ。軍隊の攻撃はすぐにでもあるわ。何は精霊の丘に。
That brings an end to today's video, and if you'd like to see some more eye-opening things from the world of anime, click on this next video. Thank you for watching!